that people are inspired to go home and organize their spaces. And if not, if they need help, then they can reach out to you.
Yeah. We did want to mention one thing.
Yes.
We are offering, if you mention this podcast, 10% off, just 1 day of labor.
Yay.
Not product, but of labor.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
Sure.
I guarantee you will have people reach out to you after this. So, because you guys are awesome, and I can testify to that. I can testify to that because you guys did my master closet, and I love it. It makes me smile when I walk in there.
Yay.
So
Awesome.
That's what we wanted.
before we get into this episode, I just had to jump on and say thank you so much for making our podcast one of the top 5 in all of Arizona. Super cool. And if you enjoy this podcast, please make sure you like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of our future episodes. And you can find us on all podcast platforms. Thanks for watching.
This is The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. Whether you're a seasoned real estate expert, a first-time home buyer, or if you're simply passionate about hearing small business stories, this is the podcast for you. Join us as we dive deep into the world of real estate and beyond.
Welcome to The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. I am your host, Janine Igliani, and I am so excited. This is episode 38. Our guests today are Etelka and Suzy, and I want to get the name of your company right, Simply Organized Solutions for You. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Yes.
So this will be fun because I absolutely love to have things organized, and you guys I feel bad for you. You had to do my closet, and it was probably like so much work.
Oh, not at all. It was actually a lot of fun. Yeah.
We'll have to get into that, but tell us first kind of how you got into organizing, how you know each other, all of that. Whoever wants to go.
Do you want to start?
Sure. Okay. So back in 2018, a mutual friend of ours had said that she had this. She was inviting us to a group that was an accountability group. So I had a dream since I was probably in my late 20s of starting my own business. I'd been in corporate America for a long time and I hated it, and I wanted to have my own organizing business. But there was that security factor where I wanted to be able to take care of myself. I wasn't married yet, didn't have a family. And so it was always in the back of my mind, and I always did the work for friends and, myself. But in terms of
when you said you did the work, like the organizing, stuff?
Yeah, I was the third wheel. So all my friends got married. They all had kids. They all had, busy lives and houses they were moving from or to. And so that's a lot of the work that I did for free. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And so anyway, this friend of ours, Ellen, invited us to the accountability group, and I was like, okay, I'd been feeling God prompting me for about a year to stop talking about having a business and actually have a business, do something about it. And so I thought, okay, I'll put it out there. So I said what I wanted to do, and I thought, now I'm going to have to be accountable.
Right.
And within 2 minutes of me posting that, Etelka said, I want to do the same thing.
No way, someone's crazy like me. No, because it's just a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like organizing things.
Yeah.
So I look back at it now and it's hilarious, but I was like, I don't know this person really. I mean, I knew who she was because we went to the same church, but I was like, this was my dream. I want to do this. And there's no way I could have ever, it just was providential, I think. I was not meant to do that work by myself and start a business. So then we met, and
I'm like, here's the business plan. No,
Right.
So we both had kids in school. So it was like, okay, our first free time is August. So we met in August, and by November we had a business running, and we had our first client. And so we've been in business a little over 5 years now, and
That's amazing.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah.
And then we heard your side. So Etelka, tell us about your side. Obviously, you had a passion for organizing.
Oh yeah, I would always ask my friends, hey, can I organize your stuff? Can I come over? Because I just love order. I hate clutter because I know how much peace it gives to your life when you can see everything, know where everything belongs. And when she put that out, I was like, oh, here it goes.
Yeah.
It was just so exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense. So let's talk about that. Why is organization so important? I think I've heard this, and I totally relate to this. When things are out of order, I feel like crazy. And when everything is in order, it just feels more peaceful.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, I think all you have to do is walk into a client's house and you actually see the weight on their shoulders and they're almost embarrassed. Like, oh my gosh,
There's a lot of shame.
There's a lot of shame.
Not for everybody, but for people whose homes definitely need our help. You can just see that they don't want to show you the space. You know, there's a lot of, they've probably experienced a lot of judgment and maybe they've kind of tipped the scale and now they can't get back. So that's why they need us to come in and help them do that.
And just to see the after and how there were different persons smiling within a couple hours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, oh, there it is again.
That's
every
amazing.
single time. We never had a customer go, oh,
Right.
I feel worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's amazing, you know, from in what I do, going into people's homes to talk about selling it. There's so much prep work that we do because we know that the way the home shows really makes a difference in what it ultimately sells for. And also your home tells a story. And so when it comes to selling, we want that story to be one that this home has been well loved, taken care of, and is move-in ready. And so there are things that we do, but to your point, when I am constantly getting people apologizing to me, and because they feel so bad, and I'm like, no. And in my world, you know, when you live in your home, it's so different than when you sell it.
Exactly.
But there's so many things that you can do, and people come to my home, and not that I'm not at all, but I tend to want my home to reflect like how my listings look, just because that's so how my brain works. That's what I do all the time, you know.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, I mean, I just want to jump in. Like, what is your favorite thing to organize?
Well, this is the other thing that's kind of a God thing, is that he designed us to be organizers, but very complimentary. Like,
Ooh,
I don't
what
like
she
what
likes,
she does. I don't. So I love kitchens and pantries. Pantries in particular. I really love pantries.
Really quick before I want to pause on that. Tell us, when it comes to organizing your kitchen and your pantry, like what are some tips that you would say these are really great rules to live by? Because I know in my home, what's hard for me is we come home, we bring home the groceries, and I'll tell the kids to unload it. And what do? They just shove it in there.
Wherever it fits.
And then I go through and I'm like, what is happening here? Or empty boxes and there's not that like rotation, and it just over, and then it becomes a project of like, okay, now I have to spend a whole afternoon organizing this, right? So what are some tips?
For any kind of organizing, we always say, give it an address, give it a home. So having clear labeling on things, which for some people, it's like, that's way over the top. They don't want that at all. But for the most part, having a bin or having some place that belongs. Now, if you have any influence over builders, could you ask them to design better pantries?
Oh, tell me. Yeah.
It's really hard. But we always find a solution, but it's just, it's finding a way to store it in a way that works for the client. I mean, the way I want it may not be the way that's going to work for that person. So as we're working, we do ask them, okay, what do you think of this system? We try to do a reveal at the end. So it's more just asking, not showing.
Yes.
And so, we have beautiful pantries that we've done that are just Pinterest worthy, but are they functional?
Yes.
And oftentimes what looks pretty is then you end up with a big basket that's pretty, but it's full of expired food and you've got excess because you keep buying because you don't really know what you have.
Yeah.
So staying on top of inventory of what you have, if you want that Pinterest worthy pantry, is important. But we like clear, like really nice clear acrylic is great. It holds up well. You can see what you have. If your kids are unloading, they have it has a label. That's where the granola bars go, that sort of thing.
So do you recommend taking the items out of the boxes?
I prefer that. When we first started, I didn't do that as much because it seemed we were so conscious of not wasting our clients' time, because we charge by the hour. So, but then clients started asking for that and wanting us to come back and refill those things when they buy their massive amount of food, coming back and restocking. So I think decanting helps a lot, being able to see, and then you get rid of the visual mess of all the different cardboard that's in a pantry. Yeah.
Okay, what do you do with cereal?
I have tall containers that are clear that I've, and I don't write what type of cereal it is. I just have a label that says cereal.
Because you can see. Yeah. Okay.
And then when it's getting low and you don't have to have 40 boxes stored somewhere,
right?
You can shop.
Yeah, that's the most frustrating thing when you go to get something and there's like hardly any left because you couldn't see it.
Right.
What about, so like in my house, my kitchen pantry, it's not really a pantry. I hate it. It's like cabinets. So would you recommend like having
yeah.
pull-out drawers so that
Yes.
it's easy access?
Those work really well because it is hard, especially if it's the cabinets that have the deep, that are deep. If you could put a deep drawer in there, then you're at least using all of the space and you
Right.
can see what you have. And maybe even installing like a little light in the cabinet so you can see.
Okay.
But yeah, the pantries, it's just, I don't know. I mean, you look and think, okay, why did they think that all that space at the top, that could have been used differently?
Yes, I know.
So,
Okay. What about like pots and pans and dishes? Do you have any tips on that?
it depends on what storage space you have available. I would say pots and pans, pans in particular, those racks, not a cheap flimsy one, but we just used one the other day that was really sturdy. And this is the other difference. I love product. I love going and looking for product and
I'm just
shopping
like,
for the client.
go
She's
do
like,
it.
Yeah.
I hate shopping.
Yeah.
For anything.
Yeah.
So I like finding those solutions for things.
Okay.
So storing your pans that you use, if it's in a cabinet, I would say store them, stacked on their side so you can pull them out.
Smart.
And just, again, keeping things in a home so that everything is where it belongs.
Yes.
And then a lot of homes now seem to have deep drawers.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you've got heavy stuff that you're trying to get to the bottom and get
Yes.
something out.
Yes.
So there are all kinds of solutions, though, for inserts in drawers to make it easier to lift things.
More organized.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on kitchens and pantries we should know?
I don't know.
I think you covered
did I miss
it.
anything?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your turn, Etelka. So tell us, what do you love? I want to know.
love closets. I know it's so boring, but I just love seeing everything matching hangers. Because, like if they're different colors, it just changes like the feel. It feels like, ooh, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
So for me, I like organizing clothes by type, color, long sleeve, short sleeve, just so it's all like, oh, that's what I need. Oh, I have 20 black tank tops. What the heck? I need to get rid of them. So that's why when we finish organizing, when people actually see everything they have, then it's easier for them to get rid of stuff too, which is nice.
Yeah.
And also, this is just what I do at my house is if I buy something, I get rid of something.
She's a minimalist.
I'm a minimalist.
She has a very cute capsule wardrobe that, I could never do. When we first met, she's like, I think we should see each other's closets. And I thought,
I'm like,
let's start with
so
yours.
funny.
So we went to hers
And you're
first.
like, I'll show you my pantry.
I'll show you my pantry.
Right. Yeah. So I think a lot of people, a lot of the houses we've gone to, the tags are still on. They don't even know they own it. And it's just like, oh, that's money. They're just like, just sitting there. So I think once they see it's organized, and it gives them the opportunity to start getting rid of stuff too.
So what are your thoughts? Because this is something that I personally struggle with, is old clothing that maybe is sentimental, but you're not necessarily going to wear it. What are your thoughts?
just put it in a bin and put it somewhere else.
Okay.
Because it's taking up real estate that you don't need to store stuff. You know what I mean?
That's so hard though.
It is.
It's like, maybe I'll use this one day or it'll come back in style.
Well, things do. I mean,
It
that's the thing. You look
does.
at what's coming back in style now.
I
And like,
know.
oh, that was 20 years ago.
Totally.
So,
I'm telling my daughters, like, that was the style when I was in high school.
But you won't see me wearing that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
True.
yeah,
Okay,
we
that's
won't wear.
true.
My daughter has actually started taking things of mine and my husband. She loves those huge sweatshirts, that
Yes.
they used to wear.
Oh, yeah.
in the 80s. And yeah, so either that or the other thing we recommend, if it's getting rid of something, whether it's clothes or if you know that it's bothering you to keep it, but you don't, but you still want the memory of it, people, we suggest that they take pictures of it and make themselves a photo book
That's a good idea.
so that you still have the memory, you can
Yes.
still see it, but it doesn't have to live in your house anymore.
Yes. So can we talk about my closet?
Yeah.
Well, it was a mess. I feel like my closet is so small for all my stuff. And you guys came in there and just made it like, it's a very visually appealing because it's sorted like color by color.
Yeah.
And by, like style, like you said, like tank tops versus shirts versus sweaters. And it's been fun going through there and looking at like, ooh, what do I want to wear? Oh, I haven't seen that in a while,
Yeah.
But I also feel like that's kind of a tip of like, okay, I need to maybe get rid of it if I didn't even know I had it.
Right.
And then the other thing is you guys did a lot of bins. So like my workout clothes were in bins, hats and different things. So what are your thoughts on all of that? Like some of it kind of containing it all. What are some best practices?
Well, just putting like items together is what it comes down to. But when you don't have dressers, that's what we have to use is the baskets and just label it. And then you just take it down. It doesn't have to be folded and perfect. You just know it's all in there.
Yeah. And that's where you go for
That's
it.
where you go.
And that's where it goes back after you do laundry.
Yes.
That's the important thing is putting it back where you found
Yes.
it.
So a lot of us use our closets as like storage. What are your thoughts on that? Is that the right place? Is what, what should be in a master bedroom closet?
It's hard because in Arizona homes, we don't have a lot of storage and you can't store things in the garage very well if you want them to last. So I would say that depending on what you're putting in your closet. Like we have found that people have had, because they don't want their kids eating snacks, they hide like cases of snacks.
Oh, how funny.
That I don't think belongs in your master closet. Even though it may accommodate them, I don't feel like food should be in your closet.
Yeah.
But it's working for them.
It does work, yeah. Let's see what else. I mean, memorabilia. Sometimes if you have the space to keep that box in there of, your kids' paintings or whatever the case may be.
My old
think that's
wedding
okay.
dress, it's all boxed up and it was in there.
I have the exact same box for mine, yes.
Oh.
And I kept mine, which I know you're like, why are you holding on to that?
I know.
Well, I don't know.
And it's like closed up, so I don't even see it.
Right.
Yeah.
I do wonder, like 16 years later, am I ever going to need to open this?
Right.
No. Yeah.
My kids are not going to want to wear it.
Right.
So.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, so you guys did some of the things. I'll talk about what you guys, it was getting rid of some stuff. Like not everything needs to be in here. So that was helpful of like, okay, that's good. And then you've said this a couple times, Suzy, like everything has a place and put it back there, and that's what's hard is especially like one of the things we had in ours was our suitcases.
Yeah.
And you're like, those can go in the garage. And you're like, yeah, you're right. What happens is we unpack and we're like, okay, just put it here, right? Instead of going and putting it back where it needs to go.
Yeah.
You did the same color hangers, which just again visually makes it look so pretty. And then like you said, everything has a spot. So even keeping the containers for me, it's so nice because I don't just see a bunch of stuff stacked and piled there,
Yes.
And having uniform as much as possible, the containers that you use, having them uniform.
Yes.
Otherwise, then you're like, okay, well, that's clear and that's not.
feels
right.
So
Visually, yes. Okay, let's talk about the garage because that's another spot that you guys organize, right?
Up until
the end
May.
of May.
Otherwise
we stay.
Otherwise, it just gets too hot. We've learned our lesson.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay, what are some tips when it comes to keeping a garage organized?
Well,
Well,
shelving is helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear bins. You have
Labeling the bins, maybe,
labeling,
right?
getting the Christmas decor in there because sometimes they'll be in the house and just takes up so much space in the house.
So again, categorizing everything so that it is, one bin holds whatever.
Yeah.
And again, with it being so hot in Arizona, certainly there are things that you cannot put out in the garage. So,
Right. Oh my gosh,
but
yes.
trying to make space. We had a client, and I still remember driving away and seeing her jumping up and down. She and her mom lived together, and they had not been in their garage for I don't know how many years. But by the time we had finished that afternoon, both cars fit in their garage. And part of it was that there had been a death in the family, and they hadn't been ready to part with things.
Yes.
So once we were able to haul all of that away for them, they were just ecstatic that they
That's
could get 2
amazing.
cars in their garage.
Yeah. And then tips for like maintaining the organization really is just putting things back where you got it from or where its home is. And then I love what you said about like getting rid of some stuff too. Like if you haven't used it in a while, what else? What else would you guys say?
Also, just because we're organizers doesn't mean our houses are perfect.
Yeah.
But everything has a home.
Yes.
That's the key, What was your question?
No, that's it. Yeah. Just okay.
Yeah. And also keeping track of what are you bringing into your home all the time?
Yes.
Do you really need all of those things that you're buying? Or if you're
Yes.
buying them, like Etelka said with her closet, is there something that you could get rid of so that you're not just piling that up somewhere
Yes.
else?
What do you have any tips or thoughts on linen closets?
Ooh.
People keep so much stuff they never ever use.
Yeah.
So when we take it
so
out
many sets.
and we lay it out, they're like, oh my gosh, get rid of all that. Because what they use is on the couch already, or the sheets already have another set. They don't need like 5 of them, or, you know.
So you would say get rid of it if you haven't used it in a while.
Yeah.
And what would you do? Donate it?
Oh yeah, we donate.
We have a
everything.
number of different places we like to donate.
Okay.
To. So if it's clothing, nicer clothing, we'll bring it to
Repurpose or House of Refuge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, House of Refuge, Sunshine Acres. We take things up there. So yeah, it's getting rid of it. It feels good, once it's gone. And that is our other thing. So one of the things we offer is, because we both have minivans, we will haul away 2 minivans full of
amazing
donations each time we work. And we don't like to leave things in people's garages or homes because it seems to work its way back into where it was. Because they'll think, well, maybe I really shouldn't get rid of that. So if it's gone, it's gone. And I don't think we've ever had a client who came back and said, I really wish I wouldn't have gotten rid of that. I mean, if it's out of, it was already not being used. So now it's gone and you don't have to think about it.
And also, we never take anything. Like we have piles: trash, recycle, give. They decide every single thing. Because that one piece of paper we think is trash could be like, oh, my mom gave me that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
we're very respectful of what people have, and they are part of the decision-making process.
Yeah.
Unless they tell us if it's expired, get rid of it. But we always assure them that we are never going to throw something away. Because a lot of times when it comes to people who hold on to things for long periods of time or have a lot of something, it's because at some point maybe their parent threw their things out without them being, asked about it. And so if we came in and did the same thing, that would just exacerbate that problem and maybe increase the amount of things that they were buying.
So let's talk about that, because I think the way your home is kept, the organization or lack thereof, is maybe a reflection of things that are going on internally. Like, can you guys speak to that at all? Do you have any thoughts or experience with that?
We agree with that 100%.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the time people are calling us, it's not because they're like, oh, that sounds fun. It's because there's something going on. They can't handle it. That's too overwhelming. They're just busy with kids. Someone just passed away. It's never just because. There's always a situation.
The homes that are not just a regular tidy up type of organization, but require a lot of purging and whatnot, it's there's typically some psychological thing going on that we kind of we can kind of tell there's something there. And a lot of times we feel like counselors because they'll start sharing with us something that's happened, whether it's related to the items that we're looking at or not. And you can just see, well, there's a story here. You know? And that's why we've always seen our work as not only our passion, it's what we love doing, but it's a ministry too, to come alongside people who are sometimes hurting or are just at their wits' end and they don't know like how to move forward. And like Etelka said earlier, just seeing the relief that people have when they can see their home in the way they want it to be is really rewarding.
Oh yeah. Do you have any examples or stories that you want to share of that, of like a before and after where someone was just like so happy?
They're all like that.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. They're all like that.
Yeah.
Who would you think is like the best story?
Or maybe you had like a horrible hoarder.
Well, we've learned that that is like hoarding situations, because there is a bigger psychological component there. We don't do those types of jobs typically. It's just we're not equipped to help them, and, not in that way. So I don't
just
know.
the decision making, like because we would have to ask every, and that would be very time consuming, and we're not trained to just deal with that. We just want to get it done, get out of there. Here's your bill. We're gone.
Yeah, you guys were so speedy with my closet. I could not believe it. I'm like, there's no way they're going to get all this done in that time. And you did.
I think it took like 4 hours. Like it was so fast. Like we love knowing we could change lives in just like a morning. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's the thing. And you probably understand this, but with my husband and I, we're very different. And he is very much a person just like leave it everywhere. Like you can literally find a trail of him throughout the house.
Of those,
Yes. And it frustrates me so much. And that's my biggest thing with him and the kids is like, if we just put it back where it goes, like then it'll just save you half the time, because they so many times want to just come home, throw it on the island or throw it wherever. And then they have to go back and get it and put it where I'm like, why are you doing that? You're making it harder for yourself, you know?
And
that's
every
a big
household has that.
and that's a big part of keeping things organized is it's a time saver.
Yes.
When you think about how much time you spend because you've put it's put something someplace and you don't know where it is, and then you're wasting time, and then you're getting stressed or you're running late because of that. It reduces that element of stress, I think.
I love that. Yeah, totally. It's a time saver for your mental space of just like seeing things organized just makes you feel better. What else? What about offices? Do you have tips and advice on offices? Home offices are so huge nowadays. Seems like everybody has them.
Well, with the home office, it's the customer needs to be with us the whole time. So they have to be invested, take a time off work, because there's so many decisions to make.
We have to say that paperwork is not our favorite.
No, just because
Paperwork in terms of our own business. So that's the other thing. I like to shop, but Etelka loves paperwork and like staying out. So it's perfect because we don't have to get into each other's stuff. You know?
Yes.
I'm like, go shop. I'll do the accounting.
As far as paperwork in people's office, because it's personal,
It
you know,
is,
people have brought us into their homes. They are putting themselves in a very vulnerable position.
Yes.
We want to make sure they trust us.
Yes.
And yeah, sometimes it can get a little bit, although that one time we had a client who had a miscarriage, but had
Lost the ultrasound.
The ultrasounds. She couldn't find them for years. They had been missing. And as we were going through a box, we found them.
Wow.
And that was just like, just such
I love that.
a gift to her, you know, and to us to see her reaction to that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, paperwork, it's just hard it's hard in my own office. She laughs at me all the time because my home office does not look like you would think an organizer's home office would look like right now, because it's always like, there's always stuff coming in.
Right.
Trying to stay on top of all of it. So,
Yes.
but I would say, again, have a place for each
Yes.
thing. Don't have your desk full of things
Yes.
other than what you need.
Yes.
Have your office supplies available but hidden, just to keep the visual clutter down. What else? I don't know.
There's not much I can think of.
Yeah, I think for me, like what I do, this is like a confession, is I'll get the bills and I'll just put them in a pile on my desk. Like, I'll get to that later. And then the next day mail comes in and there's this pile's getting bigger and bigger. And it's like, I need to just deal with it right away and then file it. A lot of this stuff is on auto pay. So it's just a matter of filing the paperwork, but it's like, you just got to do it. Cause then it's so much easier if you do it in the moment versus okay, I'm going to sit down. Now it's this overwhelming project, right?
Yeah.
Well, I would say for that situation to
I know what
sign
you're
up for
saying.
paperless.
Oh.
And then it's just like you get the email, you pay it, and it's done. You can go online if you need to see a copy
My
of the
issue
receipt.
with that is that I get so much email that I don't see it.
Well, it's all a matter of what
Staying on
works
top of
for
your
you.
email, yeah.
Yes.
It gives me such a hard time.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, that's really good because just like a no-brainer.
But I think it's so old school to think,
It
we need
is.
to hold on to the papers because we used to.
Right,
You
right,
couldn't
we used
access
to.
all of that. Now,
Yeah.
I guess,
Just
you're
get
right.
it online.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, what else didn't I ask you that I should or that you want to share?
I would like to tell you how we're different than other organizers.
Yes, I would love that.
So first of all, we don't charge for consults. And the reason being almost all organizers do, because when we as just consumers, like if we want to get a quote from a plumber, a painter, we don't want to be like, oh, you charge this much to come give me a quote. We don't want them to be like discouraged and not call us. So our consults are free. We go in person. It's not a phone consult. Our rates include shopping. Some will charge, okay, now I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to charge you by the hour for shopping. For us, it's all included. We're probably giving money away, but we're just like...
We're not the best business people.
We're not the best business. We just love doing it. Yeah. There was one more thing I wanted to say.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, you didn't?
I did.
Yeah. We don't upsell.
Yeah.
Which again is giving money away. But we're just like, it's part of our...
As far as we don't upsell products.
Yeah,
so if we buy something
try
for $2, we're going to charge you $2 for it.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason being is we just want to know everything's there.
Yes.
And not like have them go shop and
Yes.
like, oh, you didn't buy that. We needed that.
Right.
We just want to know it's complete. It didn't cost you anything extra. And now we can do our work and we're good.
Well, that's what I thought was awesome about what you guys did for me was you had everything that you needed. And so you were able to literally just take the time to come in, do what you had to do, and then leave. There was no,
Oh yeah.
right?
We don't like to run out again. I don't know if we've ever
overshop,
done that. We always bring more, and it's overwhelming sometimes to a client if they think that's all for their house, but we don't. We always bring more than we know we need.
Yeah.
Just so we don't have to break up our time from work to actually going shopping.
What do you think about, is this something that you would offer if someone needed help getting their home ready with some organizing things? Could you come in and do something to help them like pre-sell their home?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Just help them get rid of stuff, have it look pretty. We're obviously not stagers. We don't have interior design brains at all, but we like order.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Awesome. What else? Anything else? How can someone reach you if they're interested and have an organizing need? What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Well, we have Instagram, and we on Google, just type in our name, Simply Organized Solutions for You. You have to add those 2 words. And Facebook, Google Business.
Yeah, on our website we do have a contact sheet, so they can
we have our
fill that
website
out,
too.
and it'll just send us a message, and then we get in touch.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you, ladies. So we like to end with a little speed round. Are you up for that? Just some rapid fire questions. Okay. Favorite color?
Green.
White.
White.
It's clean.
That makes sense. Okay. Favorite food?
Italian.
Pizza.
Oh, love. Do you have a favorite pizza place?
I don't. I just can't always eat it, so I just love it. Oh, Mod. What am I thinking? I love
we
Mod.
like Mod.
We love
Mod
Mod.
pizza. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite drink?
Well, back in my younger days, I would have said Pepsi, but now it's water.
Okay.
Water.
Yeah.
So boring.
You guys probably have to stay hydrated while you're working. Favorite sound?
Well, I have tinnitus. Or not tinnitus. I have vertigo. No, in my ears. What is that? Tinnitus, yeah.
Okay.
So if I actually don't hear something, I'm like, oh, it's not there right now. So silence. Is like,
I hear that a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I would say probably the ocean.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's a way better answer.
Favorite book?
Ooh. So I like to read a lot of nonfiction when I have time to read. A book called Stolen Lives.
Okay.
I like that.
I have 0 favorite books. Just like I love health.
Oh,
Anything health related is,
Okay. Do you have a favorite podcast?
I like Mike Rowe.
Okay.
I listen to him a lot.
Yeah, he's good.
I can't say that here. It's conspiracy theorists. I would say a second would probably be like Joe Rogan.
Okay.
He has so many interesting guests.
Yeah, that's what I like about Mike Rowe is he has really interesting people on.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Last but not least, favorite vacation?
I'll go first. Camping. It sounds like so much work, but once you're there, it's like, no phone service.
Yes.
The kids are playing, and it's a whole different thing.
I agree. I love it. And I'm not a camper. Like, I don't want to be dirty. I want my luxuries, but I love the like disconnecting aspect
That's
of
the
it.
part
Right?
that I like. Yeah.
We have friends who are from Australia who just moved to Boulder last year, and we've spent a lot of time with them in Boulder and really love that area.
Fun.
Because there's so much to do. I mean,
I'm
it
sure.
doesn't matter the season. There's something to do outside.
I love that. Yeah. Well, thanks, ladies. This was
Thank
so
you, Janine.
fun. I
Appreciate
hope
it.
that people are inspired to go home and organize their spaces. And if not, if they need help, then they can reach out to you.
We did want to mention one thing.
Yes.
We are offering, if you mention this podcast, 10% off, just 1 day of labor.
Yay.
Not product, but of labor.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. Sure. I guarantee you will have people reach out to you after this. So, because you guys are awesome and I can what is that? Testify to that? I can testify to that because you guys did my master closet and I love it. It makes me smile when I walk in there.
Yay.
So,
Awesome.
That's what we wanted.
thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. Make sure to follow or subscribe to the Home Selling Team on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify to stay up to date with our podcast.